in this moment, right here, right now, just wherever you are and you are alive, you have the ability to perceive and be aware of birds flying around, of the sky, of the camera, or in your case your smartphone or the laptop in front of you, and your body, your mind. And it can be very difficult to feel all of that, to be in touch with all of that, because when we go through our lives, it just so happens that we take the wrong direction, or we make some steps in the wrong direction. And then we suffer and we feel pain because there are things happening that we don't like, we didn't expect, we didn't want to feel in the first place. And for me, that's been a heartbreak I've experienced last year, and a whole lot of other things, like being treated in the wrong way, or disrespected, overlooked, unseen, or just not able to express myself, not able to do what I want because I wasn't smart enough about it, or whatever. There are so many reasons why something isn't working out the way we like it to, or whatever. Yeah. And then for me, it's just been something that I've experienced recently, that because of all this failure or this frustration that builds inside of me when I'm not able to go through life and I'm not able to enjoy it, I'm not able to feel good about it, then this buildup of frustration and tiredness created these suicidal ideations inside of me. These thoughts about, if I'm just going to suffer in this life, then I might as well just kill myself, because what's the point? I mean, why would I want to live if it's just shit? But in my case, at least, I never actually considered it like completely. I never was in a situation where I was like, okay, now it's too much, now I need to kill myself. I just always had these thoughts in my head about, maybe it's pretty nice to be dead, because then you don't suffer. I mean, at least that's what we think about it. We don't even know if that's true, but at least that's what we think about. And just as a side note, if you think about that, then I think it would be beneficial for you if you just talk about it, or if you can find some help, because I'm sure that there are people who are willing to help or support you, or who will be there for you. And I think therapy can also be a very beneficial thing for all of us. And I think therapy just should be really normalized or standardized in our society. Like just going to the dentist, you're just going to therapy because there's some dirt or some mud inside of your mind that you don't quite know how to clean. But yeah, I want to talk about how meditation has helped me to deal and cope with these feelings that created these suicidal ideations. And the way it has helped me is by observing my thoughts, observing my feelings, and allowing them to be there, allowing them to express themselves. Staying in this moment, no matter how difficult it is, and not trying to search for an escape, or not trying to make yourself unconscious to no longer feel the pain. And something I also wanted to say is that, I never wanted to. I think nobody really wants to kill themselves. I think we all just want to be free of this suffering, of this tension, this feeling of this really unpleasant feeling. And that's also one of the problems with that, because when we react to our suffering, when we react to what we feel inside our body, inside of our mind, when we react to our thoughts, and when we create this longing to be somewhere else where we don't feel the pain, when we create this longing to kill ourselves, to finally be free, to no longer need to suffer, then that creates even more suffering, because then we don't acknowledge what's real, or we don't acknowledge what's here, we don't acknowledge a certain part of life. We say, okay, this is life, but I don't like this part about life. And then we are always in this defensiveness. We always, I don't want this. Nah. And we're always tense, and then we will suffer even more. But how meditation, how living consciously, how becoming mindful of the present moment and everything that's in it can help us, is because when we face what's going on, instead of trying to run away from it or escaping from it, we no longer give in to the suffering. Because trying to escape from our suffering is really giving the suffering extreme energy and validating the suffering, and just giving into it, because you're letting yourself fall prey to all of these intrusive thoughts. And when we just observe them, or when I just observe them, I came to see that all these thoughts, they can't sustain themselves. They are there, and then we're like, oh shit. But when they are there and we just look at them, then they can actually go away, or they can loosen their strength, or we can loosen their strength. We can take the power away from them, not actively doing anything, but it's like when there's a beast inside of your head, and that's your depression, and you're constantly giving it some food, then it's going to stay strong. But if you just look at this beast, then you see, oh, it's not that bad. It's not as big as I thought it was. And the more you look at it, the more you see that it's not even real. It's just the interpretation that you had. Not that I don't want to negate suffering or heartbreaks. They're real, they are there. And grief is real, and it's not just an interpretation that's there, but what I mean, it's something we have in our mind that's not necessarily according to the way we are right now. That's not really serving us. That's how meditation can help you to deal with your suffering and to cope with feeling lost and hopeless and desperate. And through this mindfulness, I don't need to use so many words, but through this mindfulness we come into contact with something that's always there, and that's life. And I think part of this life is also very, very enjoyable and beautiful. And we see this beauty when we look at the present moment. Then there might be suffering, but then there's also a lot of beauty. And if we can take all of this in without separating this is good and this is bad, and then we how do you say it, you make yourself up to fail, or if you constantly create distaste and dislike for things, then you will face them eventually, and then you will suffer. But if you just constantly again and again look at yourself, if you again and again just experience everything as it is, you might suffer, but it won't be as big as it can be for us if we stack the suffering on top of all our other sufferings, and we build it up and we make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So meditation won't solve everything, but I think it can help all of us to live a more joyful life, or to live a life of more freedom. Thank you for watching, and Take care.